Hello everyone, today I am going to show you how we make this Fiesta flower wreath in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. So to get started, you're going to take out all of your supplies. Everyone should have more than enough sheets of tissue paper as well as some yarn. You're going to have two long strands of yarn. One is going to be the base for your garland and the other one you're going to cut as you go to tie off each of your flowers. And you'll see what I mean in just a little bit. But to get started, I would recommend cutting all of your sheets in half. The sheets of tissue paper are pretty big, so the sheet that I'm folding right now is cut in half, and later on I even went ahead and cut some into quarters, but definitely I would recommend starting with cutting them into halves as the sheets are quite big, and if you work with the whole sheet, it is not only going to be a little difficult, but the flower itself is going to be quite large and quite heavy. So as you can see me doing here, the main part of this is just accordion style folding your sheets of tissue paper. So I grabbed a few different color sheets. I believe that I have 4 here, and then you're just going to fold over, flip it, and fold over again, and keep going until you run all the way down. And I cut them in half the long way. You could also cut them in half in width. You could cut the sheet into quarters, into eighths, whatever you want to do. It's just going to make the flowers a different size. But once you get to the end with your folding, this is where you're going to take your second long piece of yarn, cut off just enough to tie it, and then you're going to use that to tie a little knot around the middle, because that's what you are going to unfold your flower around. So as you could see me doing here, I'm just laying the yarn around the middle, and then I'm just going to tie 2 quick knots so it's nice and tight around the middle of the papers. So as soon as I get that knot tied nice and tight, then you're just going to unfold them, and that will be the main bit of work to get your flower going. As you'll see in a second, once I start to unfold, you're going to want to just separate the pieces as much as you can to make the flower nice and big and fluffy. So that knot serves as the middle, and then you're going to have the 2 ends meet, and then you're just going to start pulling them apart. I do 1 layer at a time. I think that's easiest, because if not, you're probably going to end up ripping the paper. And it's better to think of one side as the top and one side as the bottom, and kind of peel them all towards what you're treating as the top. And that way it'll get nice and fluffy and big, and you'll be able to see all the different colors if you choose different colors. That's the nice thing, you'll have a few different colors in your kit, so you could decide to put together whatever colors in whatever combination that you want. And you'll see as we go through the video, I do some different sizes and different colors. So now you will see that I am done with the first flower. So you can keep going through and making it as fluffy, as undone as you want, or as tight as you want. And then as soon as your flower is done, you can just go ahead and tie it onto that 1 long piece of yarn that you still have. And that's going to be the main piece of your garland. So as I mentioned earlier, some of the pieces I made even smaller. So for these sheets, I actually cut them into 4ths. I also used different colors for these. So these will be nice and little, but then it's the same folding style, just accordion style, fold and flip. And I thought that this was nice because then I had some big flowers, some small, instead of just the same size all the way through. Something else that you could do that I actually didn't do, you could cut the edges once you have this totally folded. So once I go all the way down, like I'm about to finish here, you could take a scissor and cut any kind of design or shape you want along the edges, even if it's just like a triangle, 2 triangles, some like semicircles, and that will give the flowers a different shape on the edge, and that could be really fun and pretty as well. For this one here, I'm just doing the same thing, tying it off, and then you'll be able to see me unfold the little one. So as you can see, the little ones are nice and fluffy. They're just a little more difficult to unfold. Definitely just be careful because you're working with less paper. It's definitely easier to rip the small ones. So just take your time when you're unfolding them. And then same thing as earlier, I'm just attaching the small one to the garland next to the big one. I tried to alternate which sizes I use. I didn't do all big ones, all small ones. I did big and small, and then kind of swapped off which one I tied on so that I had variety as I went. And then that will be the front. So now I'm just going to go ahead and continue folding and making the rest of my flowers. And as I go and unfold them, you'll be able to get a better idea of what they're going to look like. Again, you could always do something fun on the sides once you have it completely folded. And I would definitely change up the color combinations as you go. And that will also give it some variety. But you really can do whatever you want with these. Any size, any color combinations, any patterns. You could also add some ribbon if you wanted. That would look really nice as well, to just tie some ribbon in between the flowers and let it hang kind of like a curtain. It's as creative or as simple as you want it to be. So now that the last of my paper is folded, I'm just going to start unwrapping everything. So you'll be able to see how all of my flowers came out. For this one I used less sheets, which you could see it's only one blue sheet and one yellow sheet, so just 2 sheets. And this made it a little bit easier to unwrap. It's less colorful and it's less full, but it was also a lot easier to work with. So now I'm just getting the last of these unfolded, and then I'm going to tie them off back to the main garland like I had done with the first 2. And now that I'm all done, this should be the final garland. So I hope you guys enjoy.